Hey, it's Christy from Einity, and if you are planning to release a single, an album, a book, or any body of work, then this video is for you. So artists will reach out to me often to seek guidance on planning a release of their album or their body of work, or to simply have me manage the promo for a release. And I kid you not, more times than I want to admit, people will call, say for instance, it'll be like a Thursday, and I'll ask them when they're thinking about releasing their work, and they'll say it with confidence too. They'll be like, this Monday. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay. First, I want to say that anything can be figured out one way or another. Anything can be figured out. But I have a foundational strategy that I put together, or if you want to call it a template that I follow. But still, strategies aren't one size fits all, because every artist is different, every market is different, and creative industries and the digital space change all the time. So if this is you, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular, I swear, my question just is, what's the rush? You know, like, do you typically release your work in this way? And when I say this way, I mean without any type of strategic planning. And if you're saying yes and your project fared well, then more power to you. God bless. You don't have to watch this video anymore. But if you have done it this way before, aka without a strategy, and you weren't happy with the results, I don't know, maybe it's time for a different approach. So I have asked several artists about, this sense of urgency, and I even had this conversation last week, I think, and I do get a bunch of different answers, but a couple of the most common responses I get are, one, they've been working on a project for so long, it's finally done or it's mastered, and they just want to get it out there. They just want to, see it out there in the world. And the other common response that I get is that they want to stay relevant. And so in order to do so, they think that they have to keep just putting any kind of work out there or keep churning out tracks, which I think has some merit to it, especially algorithmically, but even that should be backed by a level of strategy. So know that there are other ways to maintain your presence among your audience and the digital space. For instance, social media. Why not document the creative process without giving away too much? So if you do that, just have a target date in mind, so that way you're not continuously posting and always saying, coming soon, something's brewing, coming soon, something's brewing. Because I've seen people do that, and a year and a half later, you're still seeing them post about the same project, and they're still saying, coming soon, something's brewing, or coming soon, something's brewing. So do not do that. But another thing that you can do is do a Facebook or Instagram live session with your fans and talk to them and answer their questions. Because when you do that, that keeps them engaged. It shows how accessible you are and that you're a cool ass person, but it also lets them know that you're still there. And another way I would say to maintain your presence is to also show your support for other artists who are currently doing their thing, as people like to say. And that could be, posting publicly about their work, or buying their art, or going to their shows. So now that that's out of the way, where I want to help you is to get you to figure out whether you're doing something out of a sense of urgency to do it, or if your gut is telling you to do it. As in, is this the right thing to do? Is this the right time to do it? Is this the right way to do it? Because when you think about urgency refers to something that's important. And yes, your work is important, but it's something of importance that requires swift action, immediate attention. On the other hand, intuition is something you know from an instinctive feeling. So it's something that your gut, or if you want to go as far as what the universe is communicating, that has more meaning. So of course, I would prefer that you use your intuition to make decisions, because I feel like it can help you determine whether right now is what feels right to you. But if you are still on this whole urgency thing, just, think about whether this thing requires immediate action. Like, does it have to happen right now? Is it time sensitive? And also think about a time where you felt a sense of urgency and you acted on it. Like, how did it make you feel? Because my guess would be that a sense of urgency caused you to be very reactive. And urgency promotes a very, I would say, unpleasant level of stress, and we don't want that. But on the flip side, I'd say that intuition taps into your gut and what's innately important to you. And when something's innately important to you, you're more likely to be strategic and proactive. So if you're kind of teetering back and forth in your mind about whether this feeling that you have is out of a sense of urgency or intuition, you might be asking, Christy, how do I know if what I'm feeling is urgency or if this is my gut telling me to do something? Well, I'm going to answer that question with a few questions that you need to ask yourself. So the first question I would ask is, what event are you aligning yourself where you feel the need to release your project now? And when I say event, I'm not talking about a soiree, but rather I'm talking more about something like a cultural event, like a particular festival, or for instance, Black History Month, or maybe a season. Also ask, what's the worst that can happen if you wait just a little bit longer to release your project? Also, think about whether you're confident that you have enough ducks in order to have a successful release. And remember to clearly define what successful means to you. And the final and the most important question to ask is, how does that decision make you feel? Like, literally, how does it make you feel? I just ask that you take a little bit more time to kind of feel out what's going on in that head of yours if you're feeling this need to just put something out there. So just keep in mind that a well thought out and cohesive strategy will enhance your exposure and the reception of your project, and it'll also increase the likelihood that you'll get some kind of coverage. So how does that make you feel? So that's all I have for you today. I hope that this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comments what you think, if you have any questions or if there's anything that I left out. And most important, remember that you are an artist, you are a visionary, and you're a leader, and you're a part of a generation of activists at the forefront of positive change. So I want to thank you again for watching, and we will link again soon.